The Premier League is finally back and I am so excited for it. I think it's going to be one of the best seasons in a long time, with all teams fighting for that top 4 position, and at this moment in time it's extremely difficult to see who will get it. So here are my predictions of what I think is going to happen this season. I hope you enjoy, and let's get right into it. In 6th place I have Arsenal, and that in no way, shape or form is an attempt to slight them, because I've really enjoyed watching them play recently. Arteta's got them playing a nice fluid style, and it's a huge step up from the Unai Emery days. The thing with Arsenal is it's a team for the future, with players like Saka and Maitland-Niles, Martinelli, and even their new signing Gabriel at centre-back is only 22. It's going to take a few more years for the Arsenal project to develop and for Arsenal to be a real top 4 challenger. And even their star players of Lacazette, Aubameyang and Pepe aren't performing to the same level as other front threes in the top 4. The addition of Willian will definitely help this, and El Neni coming back from loan gives Arsenal a much needed depth. But still, I don't think they've added enough to their squad to really challenge the top 4. In 5th place, I've got Tottenham. Now this is Mourinho's 2nd season in charge of Spurs, and usually that's when the magic happens for him. With summer signings of Doherty and Højbjerg coming in to reinforce players that Mourinho's already signed in Christmas, Mourinho has a very different team than what was available to Pochettino. Harry Kane returns from injury, which is very key for the way Mourinho plays, because he needs a prolific striker that takes all his opportunities. Also, Son and Bergwijn are great players that Mourinho now has at his disposal. They're fast and skillful, and they perfectly fit the system he likes to play. They can start counter-attacks, and they are great providers for Harry Kane. Mourinho has also boasted a really good record for Tottenham. His record last season in the Premier League was actually better than Solskjaer, Lampard and Arteta. Defensively, Spurs have gotten a lot better, which is perfect for Mourinho. Even though they lost Jan Vertonghen in the transfer window, they brought in Doherty to replace the unreliable Aurier, and Højbjerg in the middle of the field to break up play and put in some tackles is exactly what Mourinho wants. The reason I don't think that Spurs will be able to break into the top 4 this season is that I think the players will get extremely frustrated by the way Mourinho plays. Players like Son, Bergwijn, Kane, Ali are very expressive on the pitch, and they like to create and score goals. With the way Mourinho plays, chances will be few and far between, which will frustrate these players and I think will eventually make them turn on the manager. Now, into the top 4, and in 4th place, I've got Manchester United. It's very difficult to know what the Manchester United team is going to look like at the beginning of the season, because like every year, United are linked with the whole world. But what we do know is that defensively, Manchester United last season were very good. They're in the top 3 teams in the league, and Wan-Bissaka had an amazing debut season, topping the league in successful tackles. Harry Maguire was solid and did a good enough job. Definitely didn't justify his price tag, and at this rate I don't think he ever will. And with his off-field incidents this summer, I think his mind will be in the wrong place, and his performances may dip from last season. David De Gea was making many mistakes last season, and Dean Henderson's reintroduction to the United squad will hopefully give De Gea the much-needed competition of a world-class keeper that he needs to make sure that he can get those silly mistakes out of his game. Now, Manchester United ended last season very strongly. They went on a 19-game unbeaten run before losing to Chelsea in the FA Cup final, and the return of Pogba and the signing of Bruno Fernandes added much-needed creativity to the squad. The signing of Donny van de Beek this summer adds greater depth. A player who's versatile and can play in the number 10 or deeper back in the midfield allows Pogba himself and Bruno Fernandes to be interchangeable in the squad, which is so important for Manchester United. Now, Manchester United's form against top 6 opponents was great, showing that Solskjaer is a capable manager who's able to change the way he plays depending on his opponent. Manchester United's real problems came when they came up against opposition lower down in the table. This was because United couldn't score goals, and that sounds crazy to say with Martial, Rashford and Greenwood all having great seasons, but the problem is none of them know which position they're playing in. Rashford isn't a left winger, Greenwood definitely isn't a right mid, and Martial, who's probably the player playing most in his position, has been missing a lot of chances. Now this is what I think will stop Manchester United challenging for the title this season. They don't have players comfortable in their own positions, and that will definitely take chances when they come to them in front of goal. These chances sometimes are few and far between when they're playing against teams lower in the league who park the bus, so they really do need prolific strikers and wingers that really finish their chances. Now on to the top 3. And many people think that Chelsea have a team good enough to challenge for the title. And while I do think they will be there or thereabouts, at the end of the day, I don't think they'll finish in the top 2, giving them the 3rd place position. The reason I think this is, even though they've made a lot of great signings, I think they've made them on the wrong side of the pitch. If we look at where Chelsea struggled last season, we can really see that it's the defensive half that put them at a disadvantage to the rest of the top 4. Out of the top 10 last season, Chelsea conceded more goals than any other team in the top 10, and out of the whole league, they finished 13th for goals against, which isn't good enough for a team challenging for the title. Now they've brought in Sarr and Thiago Silva as an attempt to bolster this defence, but I don't think it's enough. Kepa is the real problem here. He had the worst save percentage in both the Premier League and the Champions League, and Chelsea, as of now, are yet to replace him. They are linked with Edouard Mendy in the goalkeeper position, but even if he does come, it's going to take that whole Chelsea backline a long time to acclimatise and get used to each other. Thiago Silva is a fantastic signing. He's a legend of the game, and he brings physicality and leadership, 2 traits that the Chelsea backline is desperately missing. Sarr is a young centre-back who has a lot of potential, and the fact that both Thiago Silva and Sarr speak French is a great basis to build a partnership. The addition of Ben Chilwell was also a great one. He really bolsters the Chelsea backline and adds a defensive prowess that Marcos Alonso doesn't really have. Cesar Azpilicueta will no doubt continue his great form, and so the Chelsea backline is taking shape, but I think it's going to take a few months into the season before they really start linking up and understanding one another. Now the Chelsea attack is where it really gets exciting, and with the loss of Willian and Pedro, some Chelsea fans may have feared that their attacking options have depleted, but Roman Abramovich and Frank Lampard teamed up to make some huge signings, and it's going to be extremely fun to watch the Chelsea attack play next season. Kai Havertz is a young player who's very tall, strong, agile and both-footed. He can score and assist. Hakim Ziyech on the right wing or in a central position has a weapon of a left foot. He's got fantastic crosses and great vision, and he's really going to create a lot of opportunities for Timo Werner, who is one of the best strikers in the world and can play anywhere on the front line. Timo Werner is extremely quick and has an eye for goal. He's a prolific finisher who takes his chances, which is exactly what Chelsea have needed. Despite Tammy Abraham having a great season last season, he finished 2nd in most big chances missed, and that is something Chelsea can't afford again this season. And let's not forget, the Chelsea attack is already extremely strong. Mason Mount and Tammy Abraham and Christian Pulisic all had incredible seasons last season, and they're young players that are surely going to develop. Despite Chelsea having an incredible and stacked attack, the old American saying goes, offense wins games, defense wins championships. And that's the same case here in the Premier League for Chelsea. In the last 6 seasons, the top 4 teams have all conceded less than 42 goals, with the exception of Chelsea last season. And to win the league, teams are looking to have conceded between 20 and 30 goals. And so this is a huge difference from what Chelsea did last season. So even though their attack is so much stronger, they still have to build defensively if they really want to challenge for the title. Now, on to Liverpool and 2nd place. The defending champions have really taken football to a new level and shown a level of football in the Premier League that us fans haven't seen in a very long time, if at all. It seems very unfair of me to put forward the ideas that I'm about to, but I think there's real value in what I'm about to say. Liverpool will struggle to score goals next season. I know it's crazy, but hear me out. Teams in the Premier League have slowly started to discover the way Liverpool play and understand how to defend against it. The first season where Salah, Mane and Firmino teamed up, where Salah broke all the records, Firmino and Mane in the next 2 seasons really took their step up to become one of the best front threes in the world, if not the best. The reason for that success was Liverpool's pace and press, and the fact that teams weren't afraid to attack Liverpool, leaving huge spaces for Salah and Mane to run into. Now teams sit back, and this is shown by the stats that Trent Alexander-Arnold displayed last season. Trent put more crosses into the box than any other player in the league, and nearly doubled his total from the season before. This shows that teams sit back and absorb the pressure from Liverpool, not giving Salah and Mane and Firmino the wide acres of space that they used to give them. Now the team has to work in intricate, small passing lanes in small pockets of space. And with Liverpool still refusing to sign a creative midfielder, this is really going to come back and bite them next season, I believe. Now, questioning Liverpool's winning mentality may be extremely naive of me, considering they're the defending champions and the year before that they won the Champions League. But I do have to question why there was such a huge drop-off in form after Liverpool won the title last season. I think the pressure of not winning a title for 30 years and the want for all that team, that whole squad, to be that first team to win a Premier League title really pushed them. And now with that fire burning underneath them extinguished, I don't think there's still going to be that same passion, that same desperation to win every game. I do want to say that Liverpool are a fantastic team and I've really enjoyed watching them over the past few seasons. They will go down as one of the greatest teams in Premier League history. Jurgen Klopp is one of, if not the best manager in the world in my opinion, and I have nothing against the team, but I just don't think that they're going to be able to follow what they did in previous seasons this year. Now on to my champions-elect, and that is Manchester City. This team is stacked, and at the heart of it is one of the top 3 players in the world, in my opinion. I see Manchester City as a team who has improved from last season with the transfers they've brought in, with Liverpool staying rather stagnant. Club legend David Silva has left, but I think Ferran Torres is a great replacement for him. He's a young left-footed player who can play on the right, which allows Bernardo Silva to play more central, which is what I think his best position. Also, they've brought in Nathan Ake to plug up the defensive hole, and I think he's going to create a very strong partnership with Laporte to set up a great foundation for Manchester City to build on. This frees Fernandinho to play in his true position of central defensive mid, which is a position he's played really well in Manchester City's previous title victories. Manchester City score goals for fun, and it's quite frankly not funny how good they are. They are so far ahead of any other team in goal scoring and chance creation. Kevin De Bruyne tops every stat category that you'd want him to, and with players like Mahrez and Sterling on either side creating for each other, you've got Gabriel Jesus and Aguero. The names just keep on coming. And so even though defensively they weren't great last season, offensively they were fantastic. And so bolstering up the back just means that City are going to be a scary side, and the reason why I think Manchester City will be champions this season. Thank you very much for watching. I hope you've enjoyed the video, and I hope I've explained well why I believe the top 6 will look like this at the end of the season. Please feel free to put your top 6 predictions in the comments below. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and I will see you next time.